Some people are drawn to animal protection because of an experience with a particular animal. For me, it was caring for all animals, recognizing that they're like us.
Animals, they feel and they think and they play and they love, yet in our society they are subjected to unimaginable cruelty in factory farms, in laboratories, in breeding facilities.
We kill 800 million farm animals in Canada every year for food. When I consider the sheer number of victims who are living and dying on modern farms, I am so moved to act in the face of that.
I was taught from a very early age that if there's injustice, you have to do something about it. Not somebody else, but you.
In the early days, there's definitely a lot of passion. When I saw what we were doing to animals, what I was doing to animals, I was angry, I was appalled, I was upset. And I think I channeled that emotional response into taking action for better protections, both for animals.
Around the time I was starting law school, Nick had just finished, and he started Animal Justice. The entire budget of the organization in 2011 at that point was only a few $1,000s. It wasn't much more than a website and some volunteers.
What I remember from the early days was that it was very hard to get respect. People just didn't take it seriously.
Ha ha ha, you're gonna defend the rights of chickens to drive a car. I mean, I got jokes like that year after year after year. I don't get those jokes anymore.
Today we're intervening at the Supreme Court. We're carrying out undercover investigations.
We are everywhere. We're in the pages of the Globe and Mail. We're on people's televisions. Animal justice has become one of the leading voices for animals nationwide.
It didn't take too long to see, with the energy and intelligence and integrity of the people who were getting behind it, that this organization really had staying power. And sure enough, they've proved that they do.
Animal Justice is the only organization in Canada using law and legal skills to protect animals. That allows us to transfer the changing shift in public sentiment to real action and real change in our government, in our legal system, and in our laws.
On one side of the ledger, we see years and decades, really, of advocacy on behalf of the meat industry and the hunting industry. It's really important that we level the playing field, and if it weren't for animal justice, we wouldn't have a hope of doing that.
Animal justice has been hugely helpful to me in being able to make the case in Parliament that we need to do more to protect animals in Canada. Having animal justice supporting the work we do as parliamentarians creates new legal concepts, and that's how laws change.
I think a lot of Canadians don't realize that there aren't laws in some of these areas. That awareness raising is something that sets animal justice apart.
But unfortunately, we do have some of the worst animal protection laws in the Western world.
I believe the shortcomings in our farm animal laws and the way in which we essentially allow owners and industries to have, honestly, just about carte blanche to do whatever they want to our animals is a complete and utter failing of our legal system.
Most Canadians consider themselves animal lovers, yet in this country we subject animals to such incredible cruelty, and most of it's considered legal. And so Animal Justice's biggest job is to bridge that disconnect.
We really have to see cetaceans as our equals, as living beings.
Our message is animals are not prey.
By essentially requiring that adoptable and healthy dogs be put to death because they can't be adopted amongst them.
Here I rise today to introduce the Modernizing Animal Protections Act, a bill to help bring
The most exciting case that we've done so far that sticks in my mind is when animal justice went to the Supreme Court of Canada.
And Camille Alavchik for the intervener animal justice.
10 years ago, we never got through the door. It just never happened.
The intervener animal justice is here today to speak on behalf of the animals who play.
I got to argue at the Supreme Court on behalf of animals, showing judges in the nation that we have legitimate things to say that need to be said on behalf of animals was a very, very powerful day, I think, for animal justice and for animals in Canada.
The fact that the Supreme Court is now taking animal issues seriously and is listening to what we have to say, I think sets the tone for all the lower courts. It sets the tone for the entire legal system, and it's bringing about change.
The single biggest issue in the animal rights movement today is farmed animals. Being able to give animals a voice in court, being able to navigate the political system and understand the different levels of government and be able to create laws in that front, that is really where animal justice comes in and helps to put in those pieces of the puzzle.
Animal justice has done some really important things. It has normalized the subject in the legal field, a very conservative institution. These are serious people engaging in serious ideas.
We're not just in court, we're not just in legislatures, but we're also changing public opinion. We're letting people know how bad the state of the law is in Canada for animals, and we're making sure that they are inspired to take action and be part of the movement to change this.
I have never seen a Canadian organization garner this kind of consistent media coverage for animals.
There is no way to farm animals humanely.
The coyotes suffer greatly in the leg hold traps and snares.
Our government does not regulate or license zoos.
Courts are listening to us, politicians are being forced to listen to us. Animal issues are a topic of water cooler and dinner table conversation, and they're not going away.
Looking back over 10 years, I can see what an incredible impact we've made.
I think there's a sort of radical compassion that all of us at Animal Justice exhibit. We have a really strong message that we never waver from, but that we're able to deliver it in a way that is received by all the other parties.
Animal justice really punches above our weight. The reality is that we're a very small team of very compassionate, very dedicated, committed, hardworking people.
3 words to describe animal justice: clever, loving, and unstoppable.
Nationwide from brokers.
We're working with so little, and here we are taking on some of these enormous multi-billion-dollar industries, and we're doing it successfully.
We're at a very important time because while there's immense suffering, there's also an immense desire for change.
I think that we're in the midst of a compassionate revolution right now.
We all have within us the capacity for expansive goodness and empathy and doing the right thing.
My vision for the future is that we continue mobilizing and garnering that incredible support from some of the most compassionate people that I've ever met, and that we're all able to translate that into meaningful legal change for animals.
Frankly, we're just poised to take the next step forward in terms of really making a meaningful change for animals in ways we haven't even begun to contemplate yet.
The road ahead is a very long and big one. What keeps me committed to this work would be the calf that's being torn away from his mother in the dairy industry. It would be the rabbit who's being tortured at a cosmetics testing lab. The coyote who is terrified in a leg hold trap because they want to use her fur to line a hood. And knowing that I am part of an organization powerful enough to help end that suffering.